we're here to show you the wormery. Yep, we've set it up, and I'm going to show you, or I guess show you and tell you and give you some tips and tricks on how to set up your wormery so you can do better at your place. And maybe you've just got one worm farm, or you've got quite a few, or you've got a big compost system like me and you're doing lots and lots of compost worms and building out soils for your organic or permaculture garden. Then this video will be for you. And we'll just get entertained by those plovers. Be quiet! They're going to listen to me. All right, let's get over the wormery. Black liquid gold. We're going to talk about this towards the end of the video, and this stuff is the bomb, and I'm going to dispel a whole lot of myths as well at the same time about this amazing product that you can make at home, a fertilizer to make your garden power on. So this is my wormery here, and this is my winter space, so to speak, and we're up against a nice big fence here. We're in a corner away from any cool winds, and it gets a bit of afternoon sun. Now, a bit of morning sun would be okay also, but not too much heat. They like to be around the same temperature as us. And it does get a little bit cold out here at night, but it's all protected by the eaves of the house and the fence. And any strong sun, if we still get some days that go a bit crazy, in the autumn we can still get some pretty warm days, but there's lots of trees and things around, and I think we've got a great spot, better than the last one, which is a bit far away. I just never saw them all the time, so my attention wasn't drawn to them. Now they're closer to my garden and in this space here, then I won't forget the little girls and guys and all the hermaphrodites, right? So, but girls, boys, whatever they are, we're going to get them breeding, feeding and cranking so we can make lots of cool stuff for our garden right here at Marty's Garden. You can do it too at your place. So this is my wormery here, and this is my winter space, so to speak, and we're up against a nice big fence here. We're in a corner away from any cool winds, and it gets a bit of afternoon sun. Now, a bit of morning sun would be okay also, but not too much heat. They like to be around the same temperature as us. And it does get a little bit cold out here at night, but it's all protected by the eaves of the house and the fence. And any strong sun, if we still get some days that go a bit crazy, in the autumn we can still get some pretty warm days, but there's lots of trees and things around, and I think we've got a great spot, better than the last one, which is a bit far away. I just never saw them all the time, so my attention wasn't drawn to them. Now they're closer to my garden and in this space here, then I won't forget the little girls and guys and all the hermaphrodites, right? So, but girls, boys, whatever they are, we're going to get them breeding, feeding and cranking so we can make lots of cool stuff for our garden right here at Marty's Garden. You can do it too at your place. So what's the most important thing? I'll just get in the right spot here. That looks good. All right, keep on filming, eh? What's the most important thing? Well, obviously, you know, taking care of your worm farm and all that type of stuff is the most important. Without taking good care of your worm farm, you're not going to get good worms. So that's why I created that video a couple of years back, and there'll be links in the description down to that and all different worm farming content to get your worm farms cranking, and also right through this channel, right? So we've got a spot here. I've got actually 4 farms. We've introduced a new one. We had 3, and we introduced a new one. There's a new story to that one. It was a gifted worm farm, and I don't think we'll have time to do that in this video, but we will get to that in another production, because it's really good stories that come with new worm farms when they turn up. So the first thing is we've got to have a space that isn't too cold or too hot. It's got to be protected, and you've got to have access to water, because without water your worms will die, right? So we've got to have access to water. So I've actually got a blue drum over in the corner here. We can see it over there. I fill that up with water, preferably rainwater, If I don't have that, I just use town water and I let it sit for a few days, and I put that through my worm farms. And we get big frogs and things jump in there, so I've got to keep an eye on that and make sure no little animals get stuck in there. And then I've got like a container that I just go through and just water the worm farms. And underneath the farms, I have catchment systems that I can use for the liquid, because it drains through quickly and I've got a good liquid that I can use. So at the back, we've got a fence here. Now, if that was a lot of heat coming onto that and heating up the fence, it would radiate back onto the worm farms, which would not be a good thing if it was too hot. But in cooler areas, where you want to get some warmth radiating back or shining back onto the farms, that would be a really good idea. So you'd have a dark one where it warms up and radiates heat, or a white one will reflect back light and create a bit of warmth as well. And I've got this enclosed in a corner from the south winds. The south winds here are the coldest winds, the southwest and southeast and south winds. Also, it's protected from any north winds coming in, so it's a very protected spot. Now, I will have to keep an eye out for any little critters that might want to try and jump in here and feed on the worms. Occasionally we have the odd mouse and things around. And normally I put mulch underneath these farms, but being so close to the house, I don't want any little white ants around. So we won't be doing that. We'll put some little worm traps so they can crawl into if we lose any worms and things along those lines. So the heat side of things and keeping them warm around about 21 to 24 degrees is the best we can do, which I think is around 70s in Fahrenheit. But anyway, they just like to be nice and warm. And so what I also have lying around is some other things, like this is the bedding, which I've shown in one of the recent videos. You haven't seen that. It's one of the beddings. We have a cocoa fibre bedding in one farm, and then we have this one, which is the bale grass, getting ready to go into other farms. And this will be my predominant bedding for quite some time. I just leave it out and age in the weather, and yeah, I use that and keep it nice and moist and put that in as bedding in the worm farms. I find that breed really well on that. I have a screen lying around if I want to do any sifting, and that's like around about 5 mil, so I don't know what that is in inches, sorry. And then I have some other bedding. I'll just grab that here. Now this is an interesting material. If you ever get hold of anything like this is just fibrous material, and it comes from one of the landscaping yards. It's a long way away. It almost looks like a cocoa peat, but it's like some type of fibre, and that seems to work quite well for laying cocoons in. It's a bit expensive, so I wouldn't be using that for bedding all the time, but if you get hold of anything like that other than cocoa fibre, it's a really good way to go for sure. So underneath every farm that I have water being collected because it pours through, and this makes a beautiful, it's not a worm tea, and it's not really a leachate. A leachate is what is sort of like sucking out of the material and dripping slowly in. This is water poured straight in here and catching in here. It's going through all the material, through the castings, and making a liquid. So this liquid is more like a drench. So it actually goes through, drenches through, grabs whatever, and actually as it touches the skin of the worm, it also grabs microbes as well and puts it in there. But it has to be oxygenated. If it starts going anaerobic, it's going to lose all those good microbes and form a different microbial set. So generally you would grab it within the first day. You can stir it up a little bit or pour it up and down in a few buckets, get lots of energy in it, lots of bubbles in it. You can break it down if you've got rainwater to around about 10 to 1, or just make it look like a weak tea. I'll use it a lot of times just like that because I just couldn't be bothered mixing it all up unless I need a whole lot more. Okay, so I had someone message me about the liquid going through to do with a worm group on Facebook and the information that they're giving. Now, I've been teaching for many years a different way of doing this, and I'm going to give away a secret to a lot of the worm teas that are made now and go out into the shelves and things like that. People think that they're these amazing, crazy formulas and that they're doing all this stuff, and some of them are, right? But generally the base, before they add any other things to it, is a drench system. So they have a big vat, they fill it full of worm castings. The worms actually, some of them have worms, some don't, right? And so the big vat, and the water goes through, it leaches through, not leaches through, it drenches through until it sort of gets compressed from its own weight and comes out of a tap down the bottom. And they keep adding castings, taking castings out of the bottom to keep the material fresh. And they also test it all the time. They're feeding it the same foods all the time, the same bedding, so they can keep a similar product right through. And that's it. And if they want to add anything else to it, any rock minerals or anything like that, or anything else to differentiate themselves to competition, they will do that. So that's the basis of how it's done. And what we've done here is we've created something similar in our worm farms, is by creating the right bedding, the right systems, and the right foods, and it drenches through and comes out down the bottom, and you catch it as quick as possible. So if it's going through your farm really quick and you 10 minutes, it's out onto the garden, right, straight away. Sometimes you mightn't have time, so you grab it while it's still oxygenated, maybe the next day, and give it a stir up, shake it around, whatever, a couple of buckets like that, and get it out onto the garden. Now, the leachate, and this is where people go, no, this is, you don't do it this way. There's so much bad information on the internet. And people are still going to thumb me down for this, but if you're listening to this, give me a big thumbs up for this one, guys, and drop a comment down below. Be nice in here, right? Be nice. So this way of doing it is different, and I haven't seen anyone else teaching it unless they're coming to my channel and then passing on this information. Now, in the second part of your worm farm, eventually you'll build up castings, and that is the drench. That's where it's hitting, the water's hitting it, going through the castings, and then coming out the bottom. So a new farm won't be so much of a drench until it really starts sort of firing up and gets a bit of an age into it. The bedding will take away some drench material. But if you're putting too much food into your worm farm, you're overfeeding it, and it's getting a bit funky, it's getting a bit anaerobic, and like say for example you put a whole lot of tomato in there, there's a lot of juice in the tomato, it's going to just slowly leach out a liquid, and it's going to go through the material and come out the bottom as a leachate. So it's that material that's breaking down, losing its liquid, such as vegetables and things, and then dropping out down the bottom. Now manures and stuff, when you hit it, got a bucket of manure and throw it into water, you've instantly got a fertilizer. So think of it like that. Your worm casting is essentially a manure. Now, on the outside of worms, there is microbes, yeah? And so when that water hits the outside of the worm, the microbe is also released to the farm and then also to the water system, which then you'll be putting out into your garden. So your garden will benefit from it. So hopefully that makes sense for that. And you get your worm farms cranking and use it in the right way. Go through all the videos in here on this channel, there's heaps of them, and you will get your garden going really, really well. And you can do it all organically, and you can expand out on your wormery just like me. Hopefully I've provided enough tips and tricks in there for you to understand your wormery. Just don't put it too close to your fence. You don't want the heat coming back too much and radiating off, creating problems. Keeping it in a nice warm spot, away from cool breezes, out of the sun in the heat, out of the way from the cool breezes in the winter. And there's lots of stuff to do with taking care of worms through winter and summer and things like that, and it's on this channel. Anyway, thanks for sticking with me. Got more great content coming on the way for you here from Marty's Garden. That's how you get your wormery going, and we'll show you more about the worm farms coming up in the next videos, so you can carry on and keep on worm farming. Oh, getting sore knees after that. Getting a bit old. All right, here we go. Bye for now.